made by its very dictates and principles which ought to border on good governance, including the Bill of Rights, respect for human rights, principles of good governance and constitutionalism. What's your assessment so far?
Thank you, Ayub. And I think it's important I make it known that today is the International Day of Victims of Enforced Disappearance.
Yeah.
And one of the stories that you covered is one of enforced disappearance or abduction of, I think, some members of a family in Kitengela. And these are violations, gross violations of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Now, Kenyans, we had a constitution that served us for about 60 years, from 1969 to 2009. Actually, 2010, 26th August. So until then, Kenyans had experienced so many challenges. And part of these challenges were things like enforced disappearances. And we also had misconduct by police, where we had police force.
Yeah.
And so Kenyans were of the opinion that let us have a police service, a professionally run police service that is of the service to people, and not a force that you know, when people see their uniforms, run away. At the same time, Kenyans were tired of you know, centralized form of governance where funds are at one point.
Yeah.
You have to seek the audience of the president to get development in Siaya or to get development in Nyeri. So that then the Kenyans decided, let us have a devolved system of governance so that we, our leaders are more accessible to, and they can actually handle stuff independently. At the same time, Kenyans decided that it's time we implement the provisions of international law insofar as human rights are concerned. And that, you know, brought us the Bill of Rights. So that we have a very extensive Bill of Rights that speaks from, you know, economic matters, social matters, to name it, everything. So far, we have a very transformative constitution, a constitution that has been celebrated world over, and people actually compare our constitution to that of the United States of America. It's true we have a very transformative constitution.
Okay.
But we do not have what we have called constitutionalism, where we have principles of governance, principles of, you know, I mean, the rule of law, we have integrity, we have all those principles outlined in Article 10. But then we do not see that get its foot on the ground. So that we have something that outlines how public servants or state officers should conduct themselves in governance.
Okay.
But then that is not seen. They are actually acting contrary to the provisions of the Constitution. We have a very young Constitution, the second born of our legal system in Kenya.
Yeah.
But then it is being mutilated. And people, especially those in power, have are taking the provisions of this Constitution for a ride. You know, they're taking it for granted. So that then what is done is very opposite to what is said.
Okay, and what's needed, is it?